I've broken about 10 backboards.
He wants to dispel of the notion that there's any connection between him having worked at Burger King in high school and the fact that he's got a weight problem.
What was the most you ever weighed?
402.
Damn! Also had the biggest feet in the NBA with the size 22.
Huh?
You know what that means.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Daddy.
He was sentenced to a year in jail after allegedly pistol whipping a man during a barbecue cookout in Maryland.
But why?
First, let me tell you, some of these guys picked the wrong profession, but that's none of my business. Nah, but being for real, this for all my big boys, so stand up. This one is for you. If you want to hoop, don't let nobody shoot your dreams down. If he can do it.
What was the most you ever weighed?
402.
Jesus Christ.
So can you. Well, the way the NBA is set up today, it might not be that easy. This is the best NBA players, but the obese ones. Gheorghe Muresan, 303 pounds. At 7'7", Gheorghe Muresan was the tallest NBA player to ever play in the league. So in this case, his weight plays off his height. The 30th pick in the 1993 draft.
The Washington Bullets select from Romania, Gheorghe Muresan.
Quickly became a fan favorite in Washington for his size and personality. Gheorghe was a double G, gentle giant. However, his career came to a halt due to injuries. The 95 and 96 season with the Bullets was the best of his career, in which he scored 14 points, 2 blocks, and 9 rebounds per game on average. He also led the league with 58.4% field goal percentage for that season, and won Most Improved Player that season as well. But because being slightly overweight as compared to his height, he struggled to cope with the NBA standards. In addition, he was suffering from pituitary gland disorder, which didn't allow him to continue despite his hard work and enthusiasm.
Who would have given you more problems? Because I saw Gheorghe Muresan give you that work. He did a Michael Jordan layup. He dribbled and laid it up and finger rolled, and the whole arena went crazy. Shaq was so mad.
Dexter Pittman, 308 pounds. Pittman was a big boy since the beginning of his time. He weighed 388 pounds as a senior in high school.
What was the most you ever weighed?
402.
After receiving weight loss tips from Texas strengthening and conditioning coach Todd Wright, he was able to drop his weight before enrolling at Texas. His weight still prevented him from doing basic drills in practice, which caused back and knee aches. He later said his design workouts were so tough, he wanted to cry and give up.
So I was like, man, I don't want to do this.
Pittman was selected with the 32nd overall pick in the 2010 draft by the Miami Heat. But his NBA career just didn't become successful as it was expected to be. His obesity just didn't allow him to settle with any team. He played for 5 different teams, along with 2 different times with the Miami Heat. Pittman only averaged 2 points and 1 rebound per game.
I was always worried about if the jersey was big enough or was it too small for me. I mean, I look at my other teammates and I'd be like, their shorts are loose. I wish my shorts could be loose.
Monk Bater, 310 pounds. Monk was one of the best players in China, but when he arrived to the States, he realized how big the competitive gap really was. In October of 2001, Bater was invited by the Denver Nuggets to their preseason training camp, but he was cut after 2 preseason games. But in April, he would be invited again after the Nuggets were in desperate need of a big man. Because of the shortage of the big man on the Nuggets team, Monk was immediately placed as a starter. He ended up starting 10 out of the remaining 25 games with Denver. He is the only Chinese basketball player to have ever played in the NBA without being selected in the draft, and is also the first Chinese basketball player and one of only 2 overall to be on a championship winning roster, as he was a member of the San Antonio Spurs when they won in 2003. Yao Ming, 310 pounds. As one of the most dominant big men to play, at 7'6", being 310 pounds isn't really overweight, but that is still a whole lot of weight to carry. Yao was selected by the Houston Rockets as the first overall pick.
With the first pick, the Houston Rockets select Yao Ming from Shanghai, China.
In the 2002 draft, he reached the NBA playoffs 4 times. Ming is by far the tallest player to ever play in the NBA All-Star game, and he ranks 3rd for the tallest player ever in the NBA. With 8 nominations for the NBA All-Star Game, Yao shares 3rd place with Steve Nash for the most All-Star selection for a foreign player. Only Dirk Nowitzki with 14 times and Patrick Ewing with 11 times, taking 1st and 2nd place. In July of 2011, Yao announced his retirement from basketball because of his series of foot and ankle injuries, which forced him to miss 250 games in his last 6 seasons. In 8 seasons with the Rockets, Yao ranked 6th among the franchise leader in total points and total rebounds, and 2nd in total blocks. In April of 2016, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you for the journey. Thank you.
Robert Taylor, 320 pounds.
Do you think that some people may find you intimidating?
Yeah.
Because of your size?
Yeah, my size and my height. I think I intimidate a lot of people, but...
He was a basketball talent out of University of Michigan, where he played 3 seasons for the Wolverines and had a very strong 3rd season. During his final year at Michigan, Taylor averaged 16 points and 10 rebounds per game, but never lived up to those expectations once he made it to the NBA. Taylor was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks in the 1st round, the 6th overall pick, then traded to Milwaukee Bucks for Dirk Nowitzki. The man they called Tractor played 7 seasons in the NBA. He averaged only 4 points and 3 rebounds per game. Tractor had the potential to be an NBA star, but he failed terribly maintaining a strict lifestyle, or should I say, a strict diet. For being one of the biggest NBA players, his weight just went out of control. Unfortunately, 6 years later, after his NBA days were over, Tractor was found deceased in his apartment in Puerto Rico in 2011. He was only 34 years old. Kevin Duckworth.
He wants to dispel of the notion that there's any connection between him having worked at Burger King in high school and the fact that he's got a weight problem.
He was the 9th pick in the 2nd round of the 1986 NBA draft, and he was a draft steal. He was selected by the Spurs, but spent most of his NBA career playing for the Portland Trail Blazers. Duck was a 2-time All-Star and won Most Improved Player in the 87 and 88 season. Big Duck had a very solid 11-year pro career. In his 5th year in the league, he averaged an impressive 18 points and 8 rebounds per game. Around this time, he was just under 300 pounds, so he probably would have never even made this list. But however, as he began to get older, he started to rise above that 300-pound limit, which as a result, he lacked the quickness to really be the same type of scoring threat that he once was. Sadly, after his playing days in 2008, Duckworth collapsed in his hotel room and never regained consciousness. The ambulance people
Where the ambulance?
worked on him for 30 minutes, but he was pronounced dead. He was 44 years old. Now time for the top 3 big men. Coming in at number 3, Eddy Curry, 350 pounds. Curry has signed a letter of intent to play at DePaul University, but declared himself eligible for the 2001 NBA draft straight out of high school.
With the 4th pick in the 2001 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls select Eddy Curry from Thornwood High School in South Holland, Illinois.
Curry's play was limited during his rookie year though, due to lack of minutes. Curry improved in his 2nd year, leading the NBA in field goal percentage with 58.5%, and becoming the first Bull to lead the league in a major statistical category since MJ in '98. By Curry's 4th season with the Bulls, he was averaging 16 points per game and 5 rebounds per game. In his 7th season, he was averaging 19 points and 7 rebounds per game for the New York Knicks. Curry, Eddy Curry that is, was a legitimate offensive threat. However, by his 10th season in the league, his age and weight started catching up to him. Shaq Diesel, 360 pounds. Arguably the most outstanding player out of these 10. Shaq Diesel, that is. He was pretty thin during his first few years in the league, but once he started making a name for himself, his hunger for staying that rookie-sized Shaq during the offseason pretty much dissolved. He had the longest career among the others as well, passing 19 years. He was strong, athletic, and also capable of breaking the hoop if needed.
O'Neal puts it on the floor and stops Eddie, brought it down.
I've broken about 10 backboards. One time the shot clock fell and hit me in the head.
Standing tall at 7'1", Shaq also had the biggest feet in the NBA with a size 22. Huh? You know what that means.
Yeah.
By the time he reached 360, everyone was telling him he was letting himself go, and one of them being Kobe. He even criticized him for not wanting to do regular exercises. Surprisingly, that didn't affect his career by any means. 3 rings with the Lakers in 2000, 2001, and 2002, and his 4th with the Miami Heat in 2006. 15 All-Stars, 14 All-NBA selections. Later, Shaq is also a Hall of Famer for his enriched NBA career. Oliver Miller, 375 pounds.
Bruh, look at this dude. Until you see the... no.
He needs some milk.
That's a lot of beef. That would have hurt if he had landed on Fuller's head.
After graduating from the University of Arkansas, Miller was known as Big O. He was selected by the Phoenix Suns with the 22nd pick overall in the 1992 draft. Miller was known as a talented center with good passing skills, averaging 12 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal per game at his peak in 95 and 96. Most big men struggle keeping up with the fast pace of the NBA, so his case was kinda hard to critique. Do we applaud him for being a 375-pound professional NBA athlete, or hold him accountable for being that big? Furthermore, he went on to have an 8-year career and played for the Suns, Detroit Pistons, Raptors, Mavericks, and the Sacramento Kings. He was signed by the Indiana Pacers during the 2002 preseason, but was waived before the regular season began. Check this out. In 2012, he was sentenced to a year in jail after allegedly pistol whipping a man during a barbecue cookout in Maryland. What a coincidence. The biggest guy on this list goes to jail for pistol whipping at a barbecue? Don't ever play with a man and his food.